glad to be able to make another video. I haven't put one up in a while. And today I have Stephen Hood, a referee buddy. He's he does some football and basketball, and he'll tell about kind of how he does that. But I'm just glad to be able to have Stephen with me because he's got an amazing story. And I'm just glad to be able to share this. I think it's going to be able to help somebody's, I think, during this holiday time. Stephen, I appreciate you letting me ask you a few questions. And man, you've been through some stuff in your life, brother. My goodness.
I tell people it's God's story and it's not mine. And from the time it began, I asked him that I'd be a vessel that he could use. And that's what my prayer continues to be.
I want you to be able to share what you've had a couple of 1-2 punches in your life, but because it's around the holidays, I want to let you share what you want to generally, but kind of bring it down to focus a little bit around the holidays, because a lot of people really have a hard time when it comes to dealing with the holiday time and
Yes.
how that goes. So just kind of share that a little bit.
And I did. I was told I had cancer and stage 4 cancer in September of 2004. So I spent Thanksgiving and Christmas of 2004 in the hospital.
Wow.
So I know very well what it can do to you. And over the years, I've actually spent 4 Thanksgivings and 3 Christmases in the hospitals and a birthday. So, you know, it comes down to really, I've had to ponder on it, was you have to realize that, in a way, I've had to come realize that's the mission field. And the people that are working there, they're not really wanting to work on Thanksgiving or Christmas. You're there for a reason. But really the holidays and the thing, I can realize that what really after that first year is I had to deal with my mortality. And once you deal with your mortality, you realize that you're not, just because you're in a hospital doesn't any different than driving somebody down the road. You don't know what the next minute's going to bring, what the next day, what the next phone call. So you just come to grips with the fact that, your mortality, death is batting 1,000. But I came to realize death won't come until God's ready. It cannot come early. So why not live every day until that time comes?
Yeah. So 4 Thanksgivings and 3 Christmases. I mean, I wrote a chapter or 2 in my little book about being in the hospital at Christmas, but man, you
yes, and
you got plenty of labels there of those. Oh, my goodness. What if someone's listening or this video has been directed to them about facing, maybe they've got some tests coming up and all of that, or whatever, maybe they've got to go or in the next few days, what could you share with them based on your experiences?
My experience is my faith in my Lord Jesus Christ. And you have to turn it over to him. And there's a reason, if you go through the Bible, Jesus talked about anxiety over and over and worry. And he said it adds not one day. There's a reason he talked about it so much. As we know, as humans, he knows we're going to be anxious, and anxiety and fear is the work of the Satan. Yep. And has demons. That's how he can kind of tear at you, pull on you. And so you just really have to realize that God's in control, that Jesus is with you, no matter if you're in a hospital or if you're in a test or if you're like us sitting right here. And so you just really have to you rely on that faith, that peace that's beyond understanding. And that's what I had to rely on, is just that peace of God's in control. I'm going to go through whatever I have to face, and he's going to carry me through it.
What could you say to family members that that are concerned about their family member that's facing something right now around the holidays or anytime, what do you have some thoughts on that, Steve?
The biggest thing was that treat me normal, treat them normal. Don't, I could read pity in eyes. I could read it. And so don't pity, just if my brother and I have a relationship, he always picked at me and stuff. Well, he kept picking at me. So I knew he was with me. And so just treat them normal. And if they've got to go to a test, go hold their hand, and if the patient wants to talk, talk. But if they don't, talk about what you normally talk about, be it hunting, football, gardening. Just talk like normal. Don't let this disease or health issue or test change the tone of what you need to do, because as a patient, as a person, I just needed to be treated normal. And if you're the caregiver or visitor, if they've got to stay in the hospital over a holiday, go sit with them. Let them know, hey, I'm here with you. It's more important than eating a piece of turkey somewhere. I had a cousin come sit with me,
Wow.
On Thanksgiving. And it's just like he stayed a few hours. It told me all I needed to know.
Oh yeah. Actions are the true
Yes.
test. It's not what people just say or
Right. And
you go ahead.
and don't we realize it's holidays. We realize what we're missing. So don't dwell on that. Don't, oh, I'm so sorry you're missing the get together, or I'm so sorry. And in this day of technology, Zoom call, Facebook Live,
Yeah.
let the people, get in the room and get your iPad and just, because the memories, the good memories is what carries you through the test, through the trial, through the health issue. I would be low, I'd be down, and then I would think of something that my family member or friend said, or an event we had, or something we talked about. And that's really I would think about that through the whole test. Instead of thinking about, I'm in a similar MRI machine, I would be sitting there thinking about something me and somebody had done.
Stage 4 cancer, heart transplant. I heard that you had COVID after the heart transplant.
Yes.
And when we were prepping to get ready to do our talk today, our interview time, you told me that you're recovering from the flu. So,
Yes.
man,
and an EF5 tornado.
Yeah, a little tornado event down that way. Yeah. One of the things that has impressed me as I've got to know you is that you have gotten involved in some things, like I mentioned, with football and basketball, and you've got maybe some other activities. Could you share a little bit about what you've done activity wise to also help kind of continue your recovery and everything?
Right, because after the stage 4 cancer and everything, I could not go back to work. So I'm on leave of absence disability, and that is an emotional thing. At 44, I went from working to disability. It's for 18 years, and it's the interaction with people. And with football, I can't get on the field, but I do clock. I'm a clock operator, and so, but it gets me going to a weekly meeting. Friday night, it gets me with a group of guys. And actually, when you go to a game, you get to know the people in the press box, the fans around. It's just the game. I also do operate clock for basketball at Hackleburg. Don't charge on that. It gets me out of the house. It gets me around kids, around people. And I love the game, so it has me involved in something.
Yes.
And that's the key. You have to get involved and keep your mind active and keep your body active.
Another thing you did was you wrote a book.
Yes.
Bitter or Better. It's your choice. tell us a little bit about the journey on that and how and what you're doing with that now.
That actually began, I kind of started with my stage 4 diagnosis back in September of '04. And I wrote it. It includes the recovery, the healing. I was not recovered. I was healed of cancer, 4B cancer from my belly button through my brain.
Wow.
And so, and then it goes from that. I had prostate cancer. I've had the chemotherapy is continuing to eat me up. I've had both hips replaced. Then I had an EF5 tornado that we had just literally 90 seconds to 2 minutes to get out of the way. Then a major heart attack. Then a heart transplant, COVID. And so I've kind of just wrote through there that through all those events, I was never alone, you know. And I'm not talking about my teamwork. I'm talking about God never left me. I love the old footsteps story, you know, when there's one set of footprints, that's God carried me through the entire thing. And the title of the book actually comes from a sermon. I was in a church, and he was preaching about trials and troubles. And he said, you know, when troubles hit, you've got two choices. You can get bitter or you can get better. If you get bitter, you're going to be all alone, because who wants to be around a bitter person? Yeah. He said, or get better. He said, be a better Christian, be a better father, be a better believer, be a better brother, be a better friend, get better through it. And that's what I've tried to do, is that God help me better, you know, get me better of whatever you want me to be through this. And I hate to say it, but I've witnessed more in the last 18 years than I did the first 44 years of my life, because you know, that veil of witnessing and telling people is just gone. If I'm around you, I'm going to talk about Jesus. I'm going to find out if you know about Jesus. If you don't, I'm going to tell you about Jesus. And it's amazing how many people are wanting to talk. They're wanting to know that. And I'm not saying I sit down and go through all the steps. I literally sometimes a friend of mine has a son who said one time, he said, we quit being a soil tester and just be a seed sower.
That's good.
You know, I sow seeds. I try to encourage. I try to just ask, because it's, I've come to realize that's just part of this book is my mission. And my mission field is just to tell my story, but it's God's story, to let them see that no matter what you're facing, no matter what mountains in front of you, that God is bigger and he will carry you. And whatever it is, you have to have faith and peace that his will be done.
Amen. Somebody said preachers usually have one sermon they preach 52 times a year, just different. If you had to get up and speak, as we wrap up here, is there a verse? Is there like a verse that pops in, or top one or two verses that pops into your mind that you would that kind of sum up your situation?
2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10. That's been my verse since, and it's Paul basically begging God to remove from his side, remove this thorn, whatever it was. And God says, my strength is made perfect through your weakness.
Wow.
And Paul turned and said, let me be even more weak. Let me face even more trials. Let me face even more hardships, so that your strength may be shown through me. That's paraphrasing, but
that's good. That is so good.
Verses. And
wow.
And I encourage everyone to get a verse. You know, you got to have a verse, and even in every day, have a verse that God can use to just go, okay, this is it. But that verse has been repeated many, 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 many times.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to try, when I post this on YouTube, I'm going to try to put in the comments section the answer to your next question. That is, if somebody that's watched this and they wanted to get a copy of this book, what's a mailing address, or how would you want them to contact you to get more information about how to get a copy?
Of course, it's on Amazon, but it's easier to just my email is shood13@gmail.com. I don't mind calling 205-948-3597. Send me a text message. Just tell me you want a copy, because I'm not worried about you buying it as much, because I have people that have supported me now. This is my mission. I want to put this book in people's hands so that God can use it in some way. So you contact me, I'll send you a book.
Wow. Well, we got to wrap up here, and I know you're getting over the flu and everything, but I'm hoping if I get an assignment at Hackleburg to call a basketball game, I'll get to shake hands with you and let you keep things going. That clock operator is real important in a basketball game, I can tell you.
Well, my heart surgeon, maybe we'll just do knuckles. He don't shake hands.
I understand that. Thanks
Right.
so much, and for
Thank
sharing.
you.
And like I said, we'll get this posted on YouTube, Lord willing. And if I can figure out how to transfer this thing from Zoom to that, I think I can do it. But God
Okay.
bless you, Stephen. Thanks for
God bless
joining
you.
me today. I appreciate
Have a
it.
blessed day. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.